Go.
Good morning, students. Today we're going to work on working with fractions where we're going to subtract when we do not have anything but a whole number and a fraction. We're on page 163 if you'll turn to that page. On that page you will see an example. The number is 1 and we're going to say 1 minus 3/4. 1 minus 3/4. Now, as the rule says, I can only take a fraction from a fraction. There is no fraction in this whole number 1, but I can make that 1 a fraction by crossing it out, putting a 0, and I'm going to name it as anything I want to. I'm going to name it as 4/4 here because my denominator is already 4. Now, before we go on anymore, let me go back and review. Remember, anytime I have the whole number 1, I can rename it as a fraction by placing the same number as the numerator and the same number as the denominator. So I can say 1 is 6/6, or I could say 1 was 2/2, or I could say 1 is 15/15. There is a pattern. Anytime the numerator and denominator are the same, you have a number that is equal to 1 whole. You have not changed the value of it at all. Now, let's go back to our lesson. We wanted to take 3/4 away, but we can only take a fraction from a fraction. So I renamed that 1 whole as 4/4 simply because this is already fourths. Then I don't have to find a common denominator. I put equal marks, equal marks. I extend my line. I bring over my 4/4. I take away my 3/4 that I had here, and I say 3 from 4 would give me 1/4. Okay? Now, going to go to the next problem. If you will look in your books, page 163, look at the first sample problems. We're going to rename 1 whole as thirds. Now, if I have 1 whole, the book wants me to name it as how many thirds? How many thirds would it take to make a whole? Yes, the answer is 3. All right, go to the next one. The next one is 1 equals how many 6? And continue the pattern. How many 6 would 1 be? 6/6. The next one, please fill it in, is 1 equals how many 4ths? So you would put 4/4. 1 equals 4/4. Okay? All right, I want you to finish that little exercise yourself. On D, 1 equals how many fifths would be 5. 1 equals how many ninths would be 9. 1 equals how many eighths would be 8. Now go to section number 2. The first problem says 1 minus 2/3. So I'm going to erase that. And we're going to go to number 2. And it says 1 minus 2/3. 1 minus 2/3. Now remember, if I have 1 whole, I certainly can take 2/3 away. But I can't do it until I rename this 1 whole. So I cross it out, put 0 and 3/3 in parentheses, equal marks, equal marks. Remember, we extend that line. We have 3/3 minus 2/3, and my answer would be 1/3. Circle that final answer. All right, I would like you to finish the problems on that practice page for me. I'm going to give you a few minutes and then we'll check them. B part was 1 minus 4/5. 1 minus 4/5, so you should have put, I could take that away, but I have to rename. That is 0 and I'm going to name it as fifths because my denominator is 5. That would be 5 fifths. So I'll bring over my 5 fifths minus my 4 fifths, and that's going to give me 1 fifth. Please continue doing the problems on that page in the same way.